Good afternoon and welcome to the Midday News. Here's what we have in the bulletin. What was supposed to be a water milestone turned into a political war of words. Montego Bay set to get first smart bus stop. And later in sports, Shelley and Fraser prize among 8 Jamaicans to compete at Brussels Diamond League meet in Belgium today. Thank you for joining us. I'm Kerry-Ann Simpson. Here are the details. Woefully misleading and arrogant. That's how Minister with responsibility for water Matthew Samuda described recent comments made by PNP candidate for Northern Trelawney Dr. Wickham McNeil. Details in this report.
What was supposed to be a milestone in delivering better water service to residents of Western Jamaica has turned into a political war of words. Recently, PNP candidate for Northern Trelawney Dr. Wickham McNeil took to social media blasting the government as he asked, where are the pipes that were on site at the groundbreaking ceremony for the Western Jamaica Resilience Water Project?
Pipes gone, trucks gone, nothing is here. And you wonder, you spend millions of dollars just to have a ribbon cut in, and then you're gone. No timelines, no determination of how this is going to benefit the people of North Trelawney. All you're left with is a pile of dirt where they dug the ground symbolically.
But in an interview with TVJ News recently, we put the concerns to Minister with responsibility for water Matthew Samuda, who fired back at the claims made by Dr. McNeil.
He's either willfully misleading the country or ignorant. He can choose which one it is. Every groundbreaking happens within the vicinity of a construction zone. We used a large football field to facilitate parking, facilitate big tents, because they couldn't fit on the side of the road, which is where the pipes will go. Surely Jamaicans wouldn't want me to store the pipes on an open football field without security. Surely that would be a scandal. So surely he knows better. They're stored at the Martha Brae water treatment plant. They're stored at our stockyard in Kingston and St. Andrew, where they're accounted for and they're secure.
The matter comes at a time when residents out west have been grappling with water issues, an area Dr. McNeil argues the government has failed to deliver in.
The truth of the matter is they need to do better than this. Jamaican people deserve better than this. And today, when you look at it, you realize that this is just a show put on for political purposes.
However, Mr. Samuda insists the project remains on schedule and that funds have been allocated.
We haven't made a promise. We've made an allocation. And that is what is most important. So I encourage every citizen to go on the Ministry of Finance's website and go and look at the budget. That tells you what's happening. This isn't a commitment from a political platform. It is the law of the land that these investments are being made. There's $5 billion for the commencement of that project in the budget. It's not a commitment. It's not we will, we might. We have made the budgetary allocations and it's being paid for from your tax dollars. The project is underway.
With both political parties standing firm on the issue, the residents out west want one thing: clean and reliable water supply. Anthony Lugg, TVJ News.
St. Catherine Custos Iselin Golding is lamenting the absence of some justices of the peace who abdicate their duties and responsibilities after being commissioned. Krista Campbell has that story.
A 37% decline in murders in the St. Catherine North Police Division, which Commanding Officer Senior Superintendent Hopton Nicholson says is partly owing to support from Justices of the Peace, JPs.
They assist in treating with community intervention, they assist with peacekeeping initiatives, as well as they provide the necessary support to the police, whether it may be the signing of a warrant, caution statement.
At Thursday's commissioning of new JPs in St. Catherine, Custos Iselin Golding commended most Justices of the Peace for the hard and dedicated work they do in the parish. However, she raised concern about those who go missing shortly after being commissioned into service.
Either they relocate, they change their numbers, for whatever reason, they cannot be located. So, and what this is doing, ladies and gentlemen, the area you are commissioned to will now be underserved. And that is creating a problem All you need to do is just to communicate with the Customs Office, and we will try to fill that gap until you're settled elsewhere.
Justice Minister Delroy Chuck says an annual report that JPs are required to submit to the custos of each parish by law helps confirm their address, but he says less than 60% of them are compliant. He notes that custodies have been working to have inactive JPs removed from the list.
They have been trying to ensure that if there are 1,800 JPs in St. Catherine, how many of them constantly report and are available to do court work, police work, visit to old people's home, and make themselves available for justice services.
Meanwhile, the Justice Minister stressed the importance of JPs maintaining integrity in their work, insisting they should not sign recommendations for persons they do not know, especially for those with criminal influence.
Many JPs who have signed pictures that allow people to get double driver's license, get double passport, and over the years, the Island Traffic Authority and the PICA, the Passport Authority, have had to be using picture identification to identify persons who are trying to get a second passport and a second driver's license.
He added that while the work of a JP is voluntary, there are earning opportunities for mediation under the Restorative Justice Program, mentorship under the Child Diversion Program, and they can also become trained counselors for the Victim Support Services. Krista Campbell, TVJ News.
In the meantime, justices of the peace are being reminded of their obligation to act with fairness and integrity, avoiding partisan political influences and personal gain to maintain the dignity of the office and safeguard public trust. Principal Director of the National Integrity Action, Daniel Archer, made the charge at the recent awards banquet held by the St. Elizabeth Justices of the Peace Association.
As JPs, you don't only witness documents, you are witnesses to life. You are the moral authors of our communities, the quiet defenders of dignity, and the frontline guardians of justice. This evening is a celebration of those who serve, not for recognition, but for impact. As I thought about how excellent your service has been, I recognized that many of you understand the concept of excellence, that it's not measured in titles, but in trust.
And with the general election just 2 weeks away, Ms. Archer urged the JPs to play their roles with utmost dignity.
We are very, very aware, as we are upon the heels of an election, that voter apathy threatens the very foundation of our democracy. And many of our citizens feel unseen and unheard. And this is where your role becomes relevant. In fact, it's revolutionary. It's revolutionary because in a time when public confidence is shaken and when corruption threatens to hollow out our institution, your role is more than symbolic. It becomes essential, as you are the antidote to indifference and to cynicism.
In the meantime, she made this appeal.
Whilst I congratulate the Justices of the Peace who are being recognized, I call on every Justice of the Peace not just to serve, but to serve boldly, transparently, and with unwavering faith, an unwavering commitment to truth. And as I shared with the Justice of Peace in Manchester, I urge you to embody the spirit of Jethro.
Farmers in Johnson Mountain, Western St. Thomas, are battling a serious rat infestation. They say it is destroying their crops, especially ginger, which has had a significant impact on their livelihoods. Representatives from the Rural Agricultural Development Authority, RADA, and the Jamaica Agricultural Commodities Regulatory Authority, JACRA, have acknowledged the issue and outlined steps being taken to assist.
Now, JACRA is a regulatory body that has responsibility for ginger. We are saying wherever it was, we might not be able to get it there. So we are searching for partners, and on board we have with us today is what we call is FAO, right?
In the meantime, farmers in Johnson Mountain are again calling on the authorities to address the poor road conditions. They say the bad roads are making it difficult to transport their produce and is affecting their ability to work efficiently.
The major challenge is infrastructure. Road, we don't have no road to go out the farm there. The government used to clean all of the little 4 feet roads, but the farmer them couldn't get the access to their land and go into the hills and do them farming. No longer, none of those roads maintained again. All of them the roads, some of them not even track enough find there again more. So people have farmers have struggle across the river.
National Security Minister Dr. Horace Chang has reiterated that the issue of cybersecurity is a national issue. It is why the government has been on a drive to create smart communities. In the meantime, the National Security Minister has described the donation of reconditioned equipment to under-resourced schools as morally and ethically wrong.
To give reconditioned equipment to a poor school is morally and ethically wrong. They don't have the resources to maintain them. And if you do it officially, you get a big picture in the newspaper that you are doing this for the school. And 6 months later, the computers are gone, nobody fixed them. And the teachers have a problem getting rid of them because they are now registered as part of the ministry property. And they have to find a lab, a space in the school, put them down, wait until they survey department, the Ministry of Finance, which have no interest in it, and it stayed there for 6-7 years, occupying space.
We now go back to an earlier story where National Security Minister Dr. Horace Chang has reiterated that the issue of cybersecurity is a national issue. It's why the government has been on a drive to create smart communities.
It's the second staging of the National Security Cyber Smart Initiative, which is being held in St. James. Speaking Wednesday at the Ministry of National Security's Cyber Smart Community Campaign event held at the Glendevon Primary and Infant School, Minister Dr. Horace Chang said cybersecurity is no longer an abstract or distant matter, but a national issue. He says with Jamaica becoming more digitally connected, the government is reassuring the public that trust, awareness, and partnership are critical. Dr. Chang said the government has made adjustments to legislation, investments in technology, training, and infrastructure, and is monitoring the country's cyberspace to safeguard the nation's citizens and digital economy.
The government have taken some steps. There are big policy issues, and not all of you will fully appreciate the impact of it, but we are addressing not only Glendevon today, but the wider society. And the government have done something in the legislative side, which is my first responsibility. Cyber Crimes Act has been revised to ensure that it remains relevant and robust. We are beginning the process of drafting a new Cybersecurity Act, in fact. This will establish clear parameters for the prevention, detection, and response to cyber threat.
Dr. Chang, in outlining Jamaica's progress in tackling cyber threats, said Jamaica is enhancing reporting systems within the Jamaica Constabulary Force to allow citizens to report incidents swiftly and access timely assistance.
The Jamaica Constabulary Force has certainly adapted very quickly to the digital age. We have recruited many. We have 6,000 new recruits, and they are from a different generation than the traditional police officer, or should I say older police officer, right? And they allow the whole system, but many of them are adapting. And as I said, the police force is maybe the most advanced government agency in terms of digitization today. But the community is crucial. Well, all the other things we're doing will not be productive unless we can be assured the community is sensitive and is made capable of providing the support required. Cyber Smart Community Campaign is important. We're not only building technical capacity, we are building awareness, resilience, and habits of vigilance at the community level, and hopefully not only protect the individual from cybercrime, but to begin to provide the kind of knowledge that will ensure that we really emerge as a community, as a digital community.
Raquel Porto, reporting for TVJ News.
Construction has started on Jamaica's first smart bus stop located in Montego Bay, St. James. The $4.7 million project is part of the St. James Municipal Corporation's 2025-26 development plan. The project is a partnership between the St. James Municipal Corporation and telecommunications company Digicel. Mayor of Montego Bay, Richard Vernon, says this is more than just a bus stop.
A system set up where we have QR codes installed to the bus stop that will be integrated with the Taxi Association, WhatsApp chats and groupings. If you are a person who has ever had the experience of struggling with getting a taxi, then you'll understand how important that is. Especially those who will be working and those who will be visiting the hospital.
Meanwhile, commanding officer for the St. James Police Division, Superintendent Aaron Samuels, says he's pleased that Cornwall Regional Hospital will be getting additional support.
To ensure that we provide first world policing to match with the first world development that is taking place in Montego Bay. And with our reduction in crimes, we intend to increase our community engagement, and we will be doing a lot more community policing and even ensuring that this bus stop right here remains a safe spot for persons.
Now, the project is seen as a major step in upgrading Montego Bay through urban renewal and smart technology. It is time for a break, but stay with us. More stories when we return. Welcome back to the Midday News, and it's now time for the Business Minute.
Medical Disposables and Supplies is reporting a net loss of $16.4 million on revenues of $998.7 million during the quarter ended June 30 of this year. This is a complete reversal of the net profits of $2.15 million recorded on revenues of $972.69 million recorded during the same period of the previous year. The company's total assets also dipped to $2.49 billion from $2.75 billion, while shareholders' equity tumbled $586.69 million from $886.33 million during the same period of 2024. Now further afield, Mitsubishi has issued a recall for more than 90,000 vehicles. The recall is due to a problem with the liftgate gas spring cylinders that can cause the liftgate to fall unexpectedly. Dealerships can replace the springs for free. The recall applies to Outlanders made between 2014 and 2020 and Outlander hybrids produced between 2018 to 2022. And that's it for the Business Minute. I'm Nakinsky Robinson.
Time now for the top stories from around the world.
In the region, the CARICOM private sector organization CPSO warned that the U.S. tariff increase on Trinidad and Tobago's exports from 10% to 15% could cause the worst economic impact among CARICOM states. Key sectors like metals and chemicals vital to both local industry and U.S. supply chains are at risk. Export losses could reach nearly U.S. $292 million annually. The CPSO says the move further erodes long-standing trade benefits under the Caribbean Basin Initiative and is urgent regional action to protect competitiveness and engage the U.S. on tariff relief. On the international scene, the Trump administration in the U.S. is reviewing over 55 million valid visa holders as a part of a continuous vetting process. The policy allows for visa revocation and potential deportation if any visa holder is later found to be ineligible even after approval. The initiative reflects a broader effort to crack down on visa misuse and illegal immigration. And those were the top regional and international stories. I'm Antonia Atkinson.
Thank you, Antonia. We now head to a quick break. When we come back, we'll have your midday sports report.